and welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Entertainment Podcast. I am Triforce Todd, and joining me today is Wario Will. Seriously? Seriously? Oh gosh, Will.
I didn't hear any smoke.
This is the thing that drives people and turns into werewolves, and it's a choice, not a curse.
Did you get any of that?
I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him. He's gonna be on
I'm gonna miss him when he's gone.
This is what drives people to turn into werewolves. Damn.
Okay, just trying to recruit for the madness that just happened, and also joining us is Celeste Tyler.
Yes. Will, don't go. Stay.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss him when he's gone.
He's only gonna be gone for 3
What I
weeks.
got was Laszlo.
Oh man, I hate it when someone that I just can't stand, like Riss or Laszlo or Odin. It's just like, seriously. And again,
I love Laszlo, but not in Fire Emblem Heroes. And
Yeah.
I like Odin, but not in Fire
Emblem Heroes. And I love Tiki, but not when I'm getting like two different versions of her multiple times. It's just like, I just summoned you. Come on.
Yes. Yeah. Adult Tiki. Yeah. She's not bad. She's a good unit, but like, I've just. Yeah, she's been around for so long. I would have used her by now if I was ever going to.
Well, I said the same thing about Naui, and now she's like an essential member of my team.
Yes, I love Naui, but I've used Naui since she came out, pretty much. Like, she's super good.
All right, well, refocusing. We got a very interesting show for you today, and a lot of it has to do with Fire Emblem. So yeah, brace yourselves. But we're gonna start it off with, what have you been playing? Will, how about you start us off?
So over in the past few days, I actually have been playing a bit of Overwatch because, as everyone knows, they just recently announced updated new content, including with the new map of Blizzard Land. Yeah, I think it was called Blizzard Land, something like that.
Blizzard World.
World. Sorry, I'm not.
You call yourself an Overwatch player, and you don't. I don't even play Overwatch, and I know what the map is. I mean, come on, man.
all right, Blizzard World.
Filthy casual.
And actually, funny enough, as well, during my first level up loot box as well, I actually got the new legendary skin for Torbjorn. I think it's based on World of Warcraft. Again, I don't know the other games, so just sue me. All I just know is with regard to the new skins of Nova from StarCraft. And I think, I think there's one of the units, the Protoss units for Orisa. Yeah, those are the only because I pretty much know about it. Everything else, like the Alliance versus, the Horde, all that, yada. But overall, it's a pretty nice map, to say the least. It's again, imagine if Blizzard World is indeed a real life rogue theme park, a la like Universal Studios or something of that sort. It's a pretty nice map, to say the least. And also recently as well, I've been actually making some progress in Xenoblade Chronicles X. I just finished up leveling up the.
No, you're not.
Finishing actually just leveled up my mercenary guild to level 3 now, so I actually
can
send out 3 teams.
You're not playing Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Did I say X?
Yes.
Okay, Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. All right. Hey, it's a late night. So I been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, making some progress. Mercenaries level 3, got them, and just more or less see that. Oh, just basically doing a lot of side quests, basically finishing up until I move on to the next progress mission. It's a daunting task, to say the least, yes. But also been doing a little bit of filling up the affinity charts for both Pyra and let's see, one more else. Just basically filling up the affinity charts for all the blades I have so far. And if you want to spend more time just filling up, like really completing the affinity charts, then it's quite a daunting task, to say the least.
Yeah. I was happy to get what I could in that game, and even by the end, I hadn't filled out Mithra and Pyras and all of them. And of course, I had Korra, who I was trying to affinity, but some of them I just couldn't do. It's just like, what do you want me to do? What do you mean do this? I don't understand. So when I do my next playthrough, I'll be much more dedicated to trying to, get the top affinity and everything.
And of course, naturally, I've been playing a bit of Fire Emblem Heroes, given as you heard me. Still trying to get my New Year's Eve Camilla, and right now I'm sitting at 4.25%. I am jealous of you two, of the RNG gods seem to be blessing you.
Hey, don't say that. You remember my story from last week. I had to go through 180 orbs, plus getting a 5-star Claire, just to get my Soth. So it's not about blessing, it's about orb amounts.
Determination. Never forget Todd's first 8 months with the game. So
never forget ever. And to this day, the best banner I've ever gotten was Genealogy of the Holy War.
Yes, you did kill that banner.
Sigurd and Deidre, that's my best banner to this day. So don't tell me about RNG gods. Stop laughing at me, Will. Stop laughing. Tyler, what about you? Actually, Tyler, have an interesting story because you're actually playing potentially one of the best games of the year so far, which we can say because we're only a month in.
Right. Well, this game will be one of those games that we're talking about at the end in our year review. I'm playing Celeste. Just came out yesterday, if you're listening on Friday. It came out Thursday the 25th. And it is an incredible game. It's an indie game made by a company called Matt Makes Games. It's a small team, but it is an incredible game. So it's a platformer where you're this girl named Madeline, and you're climbing the mountain that's called Celeste Mountain. And the controls are Mario Odyssey simple, even simpler. There's move, dash, and climb, and that's RT climbs, Y dashes, and the joystick moves. And that's the controls. That's all you need to know how to do to be able to play the game.
Wow.
But it's puts those basic tools into use, again, like Mario Odyssey, in super creative ways, and creates these really tricky platforming segments. This game is really, really hard, but it's kind of has an undertone to it where I'm only in the beginning of the game. Like I said, it just came out today. I got it. I finished downloading it at like 7 o'clock. We're recording at 9, so I've played it for about an hour. And I've died over 100 times for sure, because the game tracks your deaths. But one thing that really stands out even this early into the playthrough is the heart of this game is an incredible and gripping story, actually, in a platforming game that's a 2D platformer that's kind of based on, it's got retro graphics, but it's definitely, without spoiling it, and it's an emotional story for sure, even in the early goings. It's a very, very cool game. The HD Rumble, actually fantastic, because when you're climbing the mountain, when you start to slip, your joystick, your controller shakes, and you're like, oh crap, like I'm falling. It's one of the first game I really noticed the HD Rumble like adding to my experience. I think that this is a game that anybody should play. Like, I mean, I'm still in the very beginning of it, but it's gotten perfect reviews from so many different websites, and I see why. It's really, really good. It's not one of those indie games that you'll get where the controls are kind of like, you're like, oh, there's something here, but it's just not that polished. It's extremely polished, well thought out. The music is phenomenal. It's super atmospheric. There's a certain ambiance to it. It's definitely a game that you could play late at night and really just get sucked into. And the emotional core it's really good. I mean, it's relatable for a lot of people, I think. But just one of the small little bits that I saw, the game gives you little tips in between levels, and they're portrayed as a note to the main character, Madeline. And one of them that came up was embrace your death count, because the more you fail, the more you're learning. And that struck a chord with me because I died a lot, and I was like, I might just restart to lower my death count. Like, I'm just gonna, it didn't matter. It's a super arbitrary thing, but I was like, I'm embarrassed by the amount of times that I've died, and nobody's gonna see this. And the game put that little note in there, and I was like, you're right. Like, each time you fall, you do learn. So, I mean, obviously not like the greatest example, but the story itself is definitely inspiring. It touches on panic attacks and stuff like that. So if I found it relatable. It's definitely a heartfelt and emotional story found in an incredible platforming adventure. Like, it's really, really a great game. So I'm loving this.
That's great. It's funny. I just remembered. Wasn't that on the Nintendo Direct Mini?
It was. Yeah. Actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of the games that stood out to me, actually. That one and Faye. Faye.
Faye.
I was going to say FEH. I was like, no, it's Fire Emblem
Heroes.
Heroes.
Don't worry, we'll be talking about that again soon.
Yeah.
No,
well,
that
I've
comes out in
been...
February.
Yes, it comes out early February, so I'll be checking that one out too.
Nice.
A lot of great indie titles.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that later on too. As for me, again, I'm in this situation where I keep wanting to play games, and then like I get sidetracked. Like the last 3 days, I've worked so dang much, and then I had to do other things. But by the time I got at night and I had a moment to relax, I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Let's put on MythBusters. So so that was me. But I did get to finally relax today, and I played the latest episode of Batman: The Enemy Within by Telltale Games, episode
Ah,
4, What Ails You. It was a
yes,
very
yes.
it was short, which all Telltale games are, but had a really interesting twist. I won't spoil anything, but let's just say like you think you know what the villains are doing, but you really don't, and it's that's the kind of thing that intrigues me as a writer. Is these very subtle twists, and then the very very end, you see this character emerge that you've been waiting for a long time, and you're like, oh, that's how they're doing it. Okay, I got you. I see what you're doing, Telltale. Okay, yeah. But yeah, they're set up for a big finale with episode 5. I just hope it doesn't take 2 months to get here.
Yeah, when is it coming to Switch?
Good question.
That's coming to Switch,
Eventually,
right?
I feel it's eventually.
I would bet money that they're going to do like a season like they did with the first one, and they're just going to wait for the final episode of season 2, and then they'll compile it and put it onto Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that they didn't formally announce that.
No, the season 1 came out in November. That was part of the part of the big November week of gaming, of third-party games, and then Pokemon. There you go, big week of third-party games and Pokemon. That's how you should have built that, Nintendo. But yeah, so I've been playing that, and of course a little game called Fire Emblem Heroes. We're going to talk about this in a second, but we basically predicted the future of what was going to be coming in the game, and then this big banner that had us all excited was a Sacred Stones banner, which is one of our favorites. And me and Tyler were joking about one of the characters named La Rachel, and we both summoned her. So here's how it happened for me. I again misinterpreted when it was coming out, so I thought it was yesterday at the time I was recording, and so I was like, crap, it's not happening. So then I waited till this morning at 1 a.m. my time, went in. Started summoning, didn't get anything. Started to try to summon, didn't get anything. And then I was like, I was at 29 orbs. Yeah, I was at 29 orbs out of like the 80 something that I had. And then I'm like at like 2 blues and a red, and I'm like, okay, come on, let's go for L'Oreal. And sure enough, she's the first one I get. And then I'm like, do I go for the second blue orb? Because I've already got L'Oreal, so do I try for that rare double 5-star? Sure enough, I didn't get it. I got Naui, ironically enough. But I was glad to get a L'Oreal. So now I'm saving up my orbs because I don't know if I'll get lucky with trying to get Mir or the different form of Irika. But then there's another hero banner coming out in 5 days called like the Legendary Heroes banner. So I want to see what that's gonna do.
Yeah, that's a good call. Just that I was gonna do the same thing. Just wait up to see what the legendary heroes are. Like, I want to get Gunther. I still haven't gotten Gunther.
I was lucky to get Gunther. I really got lucky. I don't know why or how, but I have her, and she's pretty effective actually.
Yeah, she has some interesting skills for sure. They're starting to do a good job of like giving characters some unique abilities.
Agreed.
Like, compared to like the bare bones stuff. Like sometimes you'll get a character who's got a rally speed and defense skill instead of just rally speed. But a lot of the other things that they're adding are definitely like pretty unique. Like I like the Gunther's got her one ability that turns all buffs into nerfs on enemies when she attacks or on the weakest unit on the other team, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then tomorrow, me and Tyler are excited because the Prince of Darkness. No, not that Prince of Darkness. The other Prince of Darkness. No, not that Prince of Darkness. This is the other Leon. We're talking about Leon from Sacred Stones. He's finally making his debut in the game, and Tyler is running a very special piece on why Lion is one. I
say Lion, but it might be Leon. They never say his name out loud, so
yeah, that's actually true. That is 100% true. I think it's Lion because of the Y, but
yeah.
And I'm not lying.
He's the best villain for sure.
I still think Ashnard, but I respect Lion. He was very good, and I can't wait to read your piece, Tyler. I think it's gonna be great. And then if you played the story missions, you know that Marissa is going to be in the upcoming Tempest Trials Mini as a special character, so you should have that to look forward to as well.
But, I want to say, so are we talking about in the news? We could talk about this in the news, but are we going to go into these characters on the banner now? Like, I want to complain about Erika.
Okay, well, wait for news. Wait for news. We're going to cover it all.
Okay,
we're going to cover it Yeah. Oh, I do want to say one thing, Tyler. I saw your tweet about Celeste and how you said like this is the first must-have game of the year.
Yes.
There is I guess. Wait a minute. Actually, I take that back. I was gonna complain because of fighters.
I was trying to think
But that doesn't come out till tomorrow, technically.
Technically.
So yes, it is the first
It's
must-have
first.
game. It is
It's
the
the
first.
first.
Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
You're welcome.
And is Fighters truly a must-have if it's
Yes!
not on Switch? But it's not on Switch.
Okay, it's not on Switch, but neither is Celeste is an exclusive on Switch.
No, but it is there. So
Yes, it is there.
therefore,
It is there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you've won this round, Tyler, but I will be watching.
Right, you won the earlier round. We were arguing over the name of Soth or Soth. So
Soth. It's Soth.
Yeah.
It's 100%
it was Soth.
Soth.
It was
And
Soth.
Tyler didn't believe me, so I said, "You go to the first cutscene of Radiant Dawn, and we hear Micaiah say Soth, and he goes, I've listened to it. You can't really tell." I'm like, "Listen to it again. We'll shut up so you can hear." And he goes, "Yeah, you're right." And I was like, "What was that?" He goes, "Yeah, you're right." "What was that, Tyler? I didn't really hear you." Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I love it when I'm right.
I'm not bitter about it at all.
No, he is. He's raging. He's probably turning off his mic, and I can hear him flailing his arch. But Todd, he just turned off his mic. How could you hear him? I can force sense it. I feel good. All right. So this last week has had some very interesting news from Nintendo, and just some that happened today. So it's something we definitely need to talk about. So it's time to go down the warp pipe. Now, last week on the podcast, we literally predicted the future because we were describing, if you recall, what we needed to have for the first anniversary of Fire Emblem Heroes. We said we needed to have like a 20 orb rewards, we needed to have big banners, maybe needed the Choose Your Legends thing going on. And the next day, I don't even know if we could say the next day, like 12 hours, give or take, because we record late at night, news broke of all of the things that Fire Emblem Heroes is doing. There's a special, get your banners when you get your orbs when you log in, that goes to 20. We predicted it. There is the Sacred Stones banner, which we'll talk about in a second, which we predicted in a way. The Choose Your Legends round 2 is officially here. We've already voted. We'll reveal some of our votes in a second. And then there's a Tempest Trials coming. There's another Legends banner coming. They're going like all out, and that something's going to happen on the day itself, February 2nd, which is next Friday, I believe. Yeah. So. Yeah, we predicted the future. That's how we roll.
We always do. We always predict the future.
Well, I wouldn't go about always, or otherwise.
We're a futuristic podcast, I would say.
I'll know that, but
never
forget. We thought we were going to have a big Nintendo Direct, not a Direct Mini.
Well, we were wrong about that one.
Yeah.
But generally,
miracles do happen. We were wrong. But all right, Tyler, I will let you vent now. What do you have a problem with on the Sacred Stones banner?
Right. So my biggest complaint, and by biggest I mean my only complaint, is that for some reason we got Cavalry Erica, who wields a tome. Cavalry Erica would have been cool if she had Siglindi, because that's what her promotion is. But she wields a Dark Tome Glepnir, which is one of the sacred treasures of Grotto, or sacred weapons of Grotto. The enemy nation in Sacred Stones. Now, Erica and Ephraim are tight with Lion, the prince of Grotto, and they spent time studying with him. But throughout all of Sacred Stones, Erica does not learn dark magic from Lion, and there's never a hint at that. There's actually points to the opposite, that Erica has no interest in that type of thing, and it really drives me crazy because there's a ton of great characters that do know how to use dark magic, and
outside of Lion.
Right. Outside of Lion, you could use Ewan or Null, and that would have been perfect. And Ardor uses light magic, but you could get another mage in there for sure from that game instead of another Erica. The thing that gets me about this is not only the fact that it has nothing to do with Sacred Stones. In fact, just the opposite. Dark magic in Sacred Stones is revealed to be used by people who were they're pragmatic and are always studying knowledge. Erica is naive and idealistic. She would never use dark magic. She would use light magic. But the fact that and Erica's a good-looking character. A lot of people like Erica.
I think she's pretty.
They purely put her in for like a fan service dollar instead of putting in an actual dark magic user. And that irritates me. It's a lot like the Elysian Summer banner. As you recall, I had no problem with the Norian Summer banner because those units were literally in costumes that they're in game. Like, I thought that was totally fine. They referenced the DLC in Fire Emblem Fates.
True.
The Elysian one bothered me because, one, the characters were a little too extreme in their attire, but mainly because it had nothing to do with the character, and the outfits that they were in were completely out of character, as a matter of fact, and it was clearly just in there for fan service. And this is a little bit like, it's not, I guess, as extreme because, Erica's a lesser known, I guess, character. I mean, she's a main lord of the game, but it's the older games. But still, it bugs me that they would put her in this. Like, they could have done what they did for Lute and Dorcas and put her in like a May Choose Your Legends secondary banner, like they did with those characters. They're like, oh, Lute finished 19th, so we're going to put her in this banner. They could have done that for Erica, given her a tome, and I would have been totally fine with it. But then it's frustrating that you get a unit that really should be like a seasonal unit in a main Sacred Stones banner, a game that it's filled with fantastic characters. And
Agreed.
Ewan, I think, should have been the pick because he can learn dark magic 100%. Amelia and Ewan are both recruits, so they could add Ross at a later date. You get all three recruits. Would have been a good pick. It definitely frustrates me when this game has made so much money already, way more than they expected. They've said it countless times, and yet they're still like copping out and going for the dollar. And I get that they're trying to get, you're trying to make money, to business, but you could have released Erica on another banner and had her be a special unit there. It frustrated me.
I agree. I think this. I mean, even me, who I am a fan of Erica, I after I got a Path of Radiance, I went back and got all the other Fire Emblem games, including, I kid you not, getting Blazing Sword from Thailand.
Oh, no way.
Oh, yeah, I even got lost in the mail with like a Thailand letter. It was hilarious, but I got the game, for the record. But I loved Sacred Stones, and that's why when Erica and Ephraim both showed up in Heroes, I was thrilled. I was like, yes, I'm finally getting my my brother sister lords. But yeah, this was weird because we had Mir, who, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that my entire run when I got up to getting Loratial, I had no green orbs. I didn't even have a shot at Mir. That's not fair. It's true. But so you had Mir, then you had Loratial, who are two of the units that Ephraim can have a support with, and then it was like Erica showed up. I'm like, what? I was like, and then I was like, the tome and everything, and they gave backstory saying that this is an Erica who studied with Lion and everything. I'm like, that doesn't feel right. I mean, I guess you could say this is, parallel universe, which you have to understand they have done with some of these characters. Like for me, you call it the Elysian Summer banner. I didn't like the Bride's banner because there is no way Lynn would wear a wedding dress. and then there's Cordelia, who you could totally have in a wedding dress, but not with the character she wanted to be in a dress with. So for me, that's like the opposite side of fan service, because that's betraying character. Now, crap, don't tell me. Charlotte, totally makes sense. She's a gold digger, more or less. Yes, I know she grows up eventually, but that's her main motivation. And then Sita is perfect.
Yes.
Because her and Marth are one of the iconic couples of Fire Emblem. Couples of Fire Emblem. I sense a topic coming. So that made sense. But then Lynn and Cordelia in wedding dresses. I mean, Lynn is one of the most BA women in Fire Emblem because she doesn't act like a. Wow, that almost sounded very genderous. She doesn't act like a standard lord. Let's go like that. She is a girl from the plains. That is her title. Sorry, woman from the plains. She is BA. She doesn't mince words. She will slice you down if she has to. And now she's in a wedding dress wielding a candelabra.
Yeah, you're right. Lynn was the store thumbnail. Cordelia can actually wear a wedding dress in Awakening, so I'm actually okay with her. She has the bride class.
But still.
But yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah. I definitely agree 100% with Lynn.
Yeah. Now with me, my real problem isn't that Erica is in this banner. She doesn't look any different outside of the fact that she is on a horse with a tome. I wish that if they had changed, or since they changed her class, they would have changed her ensemble a little bit, make it look like a true parallel universe Erika. Instead, she's the same girl we have in the regular unit, who I have at 5-star 40, but just with a horse and a tome. Like, it's like you didn't change anything. Even her art isn't really changed. It's the same armor. It's just now she doesn't have a sword in her hand.
Right. It's a little bit more like Meiji, but
yeah,
it's pretty much the same thing. Exactly. I mean, her art it's pretty for sure, but like you said, change it up a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, don't tell me you don't have the time and money because you had to plan out this banner. I mean, seriously. So yeah, that's my problem with it. I feel that given the depth of Sacred Stones and the branching storylines and all the characters that they had, you really couldn't find another character to put in here, And I don't know who. I mean, I won't go so that far, but you could have found someone else other than Erika. And again, I love Erika. She's one of my favorite lords, unlike somebody. I still can't believe you put her 10.
I put her. I think she was my bottom.
No.
I just think she's boring. Worse. Like, she's just not as fun.
You're boring.
She's not that interesting.
You had her below Micaiah.
Yeah, Micaiah is interesting.
Micaiah sucks. Like, we both agreed on that. Okay, but Will, do you have any issues with this?
Again, I'm not as greatly refined regarding to the previous games as you two, so I really have no much opinion per se.
Right.
But like hearing you like Ty say like it's a little bit like lesser of the fan service, but still on the side of fan service. I mean, seeing the artwork itself is like I would say it is actually to that line. Honestly, I mean, granted her designs like I think it's if you ask me, it's a bit more on the feminine side. Granted, she's also a writer with a tome user, but to me, it doesn't feel like they're really like going too much on it. Well, if you ask me.
Well, my problem is that they barely changed it. I mean, like, seriously, if you look at her as a sword user and her as a mage, she barely looks different at all. I'm not even going like fan service as, like looks-wise. We're just saying, she doesn't even look different. I mean, it doesn't even make sense that she is this unit at all.
It's a different type of fan service. It's not like Christmas Tharja fan service.
Yeah.
It's like the fans of Sacred Stones are different than the fans of the modern games. I think if you were to ask somebody whose favorite game was Sacred Stones what they liked about Fire Emblem, they would be completely different what somebody whose favorite game was Fate. But again, they're still like, just because they're selling out to a different group, it still bothers me. Like I don't like it.
They're still selling out.
Right.
All right. Now I'm still excited though, because I want to get Mirror and everything, but I'm also interested in what they go do with the Legends banner, whatever that is, because it's gonna be for like the same amount of time as the Sacred Memories banner that's on right now, and I don't know, they could pull a fast one on us. Hopefully we'll get it. We gotta get a trailer soon because it's coming out on like the 30th. So I'm at like 38 orbs right now, so I'm saving.
Ooh,
just
nice.
in case. Well, like I said, once I got Loratial, I'm like at 3%, and I'm like, do I really want to try and go for it on one go, or do I want to save and hope for the best the next time? So I'm learning my lessons. So yeah. All right, but again, you heard it here first. We predicted just about everything that happened because we are futuristic here on the Nintendo Entertainment Podcast. Oh wow. Okay. Speaking of the future, Tyler's greatest game of all time has no future. I'm kidding.
That was cold.
That was cold. It's a lie. That's a lie. So a while back, if you recall, ARMS, which is Tyler's greatest game of all time, released its 5.0 update. Yes, I know, Tyler.
No, I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to let it go.
Sure you are. He's like, stop quoting me that, Todd. I was joking the whole time. No, you were, Tyler. Yes, Tyler. Todd, I was. I totally was. No. It released its 5.0 update, and with it came Dr. Coyle and, some other small stuff. But then the news dropped that this was going to be it. This was going to be the last major update for ARMS. Everyone was wondering why. Well, the producer of the game, I'm sorry, what was his name, Tyler?
Mr. Yabuki.
There you go, Mr. Yabuki. Did an interview with Eurogamer, and he basically said that after doing these major updates, that the game is actually pretty balanced character-wise, though character balances can still come in the future via smaller patches. And they felt that this was a good time to stop. Now there will still be the party, what was it called? Party smashes, party.
Yeah,
Party Clash, whatever. Like those will still be coming because those are a lot of fun, and they do want this to be played for years, but there are no plans for future major content for ARMS. And I don't know that the way he phrased it, I don't know. He's like, you wanted to play it for years, but you're not supporting it outside of party crashes, really?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I'm not sure how they expect that to single-handedly keep interest in the game up. I mean, it's still really big in Japan. It's always in the top 20 Japanese sales charts, which is fascinating to me. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I'm more wondering if they're going to do a sequel. Like, the way it sounds, I'm questioning it for sure.
That's my only thought here is that this is different from Splatoon, obviously, because Splatoon was special, and even then they supported that for over a year with the Splatfest and the updates and league battles and everything that they're saying here. The 6 month cutoff. It makes me wonder, did they not think it was going to be that huge right off the bat? I mean, even though they have a good record with all these new IPs, Pikmin, the Big Brain Academy games, and all of that, maybe they didn't think that ARMS was going to be that successful, and then it did, a million in its first couple of weeks, and now it's an esports thing. They had the big thing at E3. I don't know, everything just says ARMS 2 is coming, and maybe they're just stopping this content so that all those other characters, because if you recall, they said 20 characters were the data mining said like 20
Right.
characters were going to be in the game. We're not even close to that.
No,
So
I
maybe
think
those. Go ahead.
I was going to say I think that we're at like 14, but I'm not
Yeah.
100%.
So if let's just say the top 8 characters from this game get mixed with the 6 remaining ones that weren't revealed, plus some other new characters, that's enough for a second roster. So maybe.
Yeah,
It's
I hope
hard.
so.
It's really interesting to like say because now again it has been just about been almost a year now since its first release, I believe. Correct?
First
Uh,
announcement.
yeah, and now that I mean, granted, now we have I feel like the game itself is pretty darn complete as it is right now. We have like a last major character, and after that is just again the party smashes. I mean, okay, I think it's a fairly complete game for what it is right now. I mean, again, Dr. Coyle, all these like four or five new characters now. So I feel like Mr. Yabuki actually has a good point of like, yeah, okay, I think this is a pretty darn good complete product. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it, and if it's like, perhaps it'll give Mr. Yabuki and the team itself some freedom. Maybe we'll perhaps get the next sequel of the game, or I don't know, something even new. We're just gonna wait and see. Like it seems to me that they are planning for the future right now.
Yeah. I mean, if there isn't, something's very wrong because again, a new IP sold 1 million copies on a new platform, not even 6 months in. 'Cause that's incredible, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
but we'll keep our fingers and arms crossed. That was terrible. I'm sorry, so sorry. Uh, and
Okay.
yeah, and we'll hope that Tyler's greatest game of all time gets a sequel, so that game will be Tyler's greatest game of all time, right, Tyler?
No, yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so going from Tyler's greatest game of all time to one of my favorite games of last year, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Uh, we've been wondering for weeks now how well the game did, and for whatever reason, the sales numbers were not coming out. We heard about how it was ranking apparently in 2017, but that didn't really seem right. Certain sales weren't accounted for that. We heard about, of course, the Switch sales, but not how the games in December were doing. We finally have apparently some numbers. Now, this comes from VG Charts, which, if you don't know, is a site that has been berated at times for not being entirely accurate. But something tells me they're right with this one because they said that in the first 2 days of its release, which was the 1st and 2nd of December, the game sold 431,000 units worldwide. Now, to be clear, this is only retail sales. This does not include the eShop sales, which I am told was actually pretty substantial. So, bravo for that. But still, 431,000 in the first 2 days. It's been well over a month now. It could be at 1 million. I really think that. I think if it's not at 1 million right now, it's really, really close. And that makes me very, very happy.
It'll probably get to 1 million, you would think, at that rate. And VG Charts, like we were saying before the show, it's not obviously official data, but it has to come from somewhere. Like, they're not
Right.
just drawing random numbers and throwing them out there.
Yeah, they broke
So
it down by region. I mean, they can't just say, oh, what's a good number for Japan? Oh, 160,000. Oh, yeah, that's a totally good number. Yeah,
yeah,
that's clearly not what they do. And they had the whole chart of all the games that sold during that week. So
I'm sure we'll hear like official numbers when Nintendo does their quarterly report.
I hope so.
But yeah, what they usually do, at least for at the very least for like they'll say exactly what it's done in Japan and sometimes Europe. It's weird. The United States numbers are kind of hard to find.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen some reports from Japan, and it kind of matches up what I saw from VG charts, but it's just really hard to tell. I mean, so many numbers and conflicting data. I really don't know, but I'm really hoping that it is close to a million. If for no other reason, then that would make it already doing better than Xenoblade Chronicles X did, and it's basically its entire lifetime on Wii U. Because I don't think it crossed a million on the Wii U, despite it being an absolutely fantastic title. So if it did, basically half that in 2 days, and now it's been, 7 weeks plus Christmas. That's huge.
Yeah, it should beat it.
Yeah. And hopefully this leads to the fourth title in the in this series. I don't know. What do you think, Will? Xenoblade Chronicles 3X?
funny.
Yes, I am.
But like, I'm just really happy if it's true. Like the sales are up. I mean, past the millions. I'm just really glad. Like, people are acknowledging the fact that this is that it is a great game, to say the least.
Yes.
It's a great game that is getting the recognition. I hope Monolith Soft is definitely taking note that, yes, there is a market over here on the other side. So thanks very much. So use this as basically, again, opportunity to, again, basically continue to improve upon what you have settled. I mean, heck, if you want to go for something new, go for something new, but also continue the flair of what you like did from before. Like, again, continue riding the wave right now.
I really loved the game, and I am looking forward to jumping back into it eventually before the hopeful first party releases for 2018 come out for the Switch. And of course, I'm looking forward to the story expansion pack, which is coming later this fall. An interesting thing happened, because what I did was, when I wrote this article, I decided to use one of the images that I used for the review of the game and put it as my main image. Small spoilers coming up. Don't worry, it won't hurt you or Tyler or Will. Basically, I took a picture near the end of the game. Right?
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
And so I posted. That was a great shot. It was just a beautiful image. I thought it perfectly it summed up the game perfectly. And I posted it around, and they go, "Why the heck did the author post this spoilerish image?" And I replied to them every single time the same way. I'm like, "You call that a spoiler, but the only reason you know it's a spoiler is because you reached that part of the game, right?" And they go, "Oh yeah, I guess that is true."
It's literally just a picture of Pyra, Mithra, and Rex.
Yeah, it's like you don't know the context of the picture unless you've reached the end of the game.
Right.
And so that's hilarious to me. Like, everyone was like, a lot of people on Reddit and some of the Facebook groups who I posted on. Oh, Reddit! Oh my gosh, I posted this on a Reddit group for Xenoblade Chronicles. It's gotten, like, apparently just on the Reddit site, like 4,000 views, and like a quarter of them came over to Outerhaven to read the article, and it was just amazing the comments that were filling out. Some were like, "You can't trust me, cheat charts. The numbers aren't accurate." Then some of them like, I don't know if I can trust the numbers, but I really hope that the numbers are true, because I really like this game, and I don't know why I'm doing the accent right now, but it felt appropriate. But it was like that kind of thing. And then some of the people were like, "Why did you post that image?" And I'm like, you realize you don't know it's a spoiler unless you actually got to that part of the game, right? And go, "Oh yeah, I guess I just don't like that kind of thing." And he goes, "I understand that." It's hilarious what people will say about that. And I even heard one person go, "This game makes Final Fantasy 15 look like crap," and I was a fan of that game. I'm like, okay, hold on, okay, don't push it, all right? This is an entirely different thing, okay? So, like, I don't like comparing games like that, because that I don't think that's fair.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Yeah. Regardless, I hope that this number is true, and I hope that we get definitive numbers of, like, presently where it is. I want to see it at 1 million, if not really close. So, here's hoping. All right, this is another interesting one I found. So one of the retro studios, who we still don't know what they're working on, where are they? We don't know. One of their former developers did an interview about past games that he worked on at Retro, and one of the things he talked about was Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. And he revealed that initially it wasn't planned as a full-on sequel. It was supposed to be a multiplayer-focused game that they called Metroid Prime 1.5. And only after they really started going into the game did they decide, we just needed to ditch the multiplayer aspect, and that's what led to certain things that certain people fault the game for, which is interesting because I've seen plenty of great reviews for it. But he admits that because of the focus on the multiplayer at the beginning, by the time the game got done, it wasn't as finished as they had hoped it would be. So I just thought that was fascinating because like a multiplayer-focused Metroid game, which we technically have had twice. One was Hunters on the 3DS, and the other was Federation Force, which we will never speak of again. See, we're not even talking about it. That's how much we're not going to talk about that game. See, we're such good people.
Yeah, it's just no.
And again, all this reinforces that video games change over time. That cannot be stated enough. Video games change over time. They rarely ever end up the way they start out. ARMS was a great example of this. They didn't know what to do with ARMS at first. It was a prototype game. And then they had the idea of like the spring ARMS, and then it evolved from there. It was supposed to feature Nintendo characters, and then it became the original ARMS characters, which is great for Tyler because that's how he got Ribbon Girl into his life.
That's right, Ribbon Girl's the best.
No, she's not. Ninjara for life. Okay.
I.
Definitely about Ribbon Girl. But Dr. Coyle is a really cool character, too. I haven't gotten to play as Dr. Coyle yet, but I'm a big fan of Dr. Coyle.
Yeah, she's no Twintel.
True. She's not a looker.
Yeah, I was just talking about her hair, but okay. Wait, Twintel's pretty? I had no idea. It's not like I've seen a whole bunch of memes about her or anything, or fan art. No, heaven forbid I see that on the internet. No. But no, it's just, again, you never know where a game's going to end up because you usually don't find out how a game started. That's what makes it just fascinating for me. And again, what is Retro working on? Okay, if they're not revealed at E3 this year, I honestly think they're all dead.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, actually, Tyler, that's our poll question. Is Retro Studios like literally dead? Not like studio closing, but like, are they all dead? Because we haven't heard from them in a long time.
It's been.
So yeah,
it's definitely time to question.
It's interesting. Okay, this one's a little bit more retro. And by retro, I mean like 130 years old. A picture was found of the original Nintendo building in Kyoto, Japan. Did you guys see the article I wrote up about this?
Yes.
Yes, I've read it, right.
So yeah, basically someone was compiling 150 years of Kyoto history, and one of them was the very original Nintendo building, and it's just fascinating. Again, I'm a history guy myself, and I love learning these things. That's why I actually know a lot about Nintendo history, games-wise, is because I would watch shows and documentaries about this stuff, and it's just, you look at this building, and there's like a bicycle out in front. It's got a nice little simple gate in front of the windows, and it's very simple architecture. There we go. And I'm literally looking at this right now, and this is way before video games were even a thought in anyone's mind. This is when Nintendo was like a card and game factory, like card games and such, and toys even, which is how Gunpei Yokoi got his start, who was the creator of Metroid. Stop saying Todd. Okay, fine. Darn it. But I'm looking at this picture. It's just fascinating. If you could go back in time, and you could tell, Fushihiro Yamuchi, Nintendo's going to be one of this global dynasties. It's going to be something that lasts 130 years, is a name that almost everyone on the planet knows. There's no way he'd believe you. It's just a beautiful thing that, they started out as this very simple company, and now it's this global thing that is so big that three guys from across America are coming together to talk about it on a podcast for fun. And we don't get paid to do this. We do this because we love Nintendo. And it's just, this is how they started 130 years ago. And now they're this, multi-branched global empire of sorts. And thankfully they don't have a Death Star, but they could. They could eventually. You never know.
Who's to say that the theme park is not?
Oh my gosh. It's a secret base in disguise.
It's a secret base in disguise.
Oh my gosh, Tyler, you just blew my mind. So I just love looking at it. I would never this shouldn't bring a smile on my face. I should literally be looking at this and go, oh, that's interesting. But I can't help but smile because I'm like, this is how it started in this very simple building in Kyoto.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. It reminds me of that one saying that the famous motto from Uncharted: "Sic parvis magna," greatness from small beginnings.
That is
that's
perfect, Will.
Yeah, like just seeing like this old picture of like from way back when, like because I'm immediately remember of like I mean of course like typical animes, but also like remember like old like instead of stand-up comedies, they have like the sit-down comedy theaters. Like that's what it reminds me of right now. Like the sit-down comedy theaters that usually is fairly popular in Japan. But yeah, like to think that, like then and now, that big contrast, like when you know like how big, how significant that change is it's always so intriguing to say this. It also goes saying going to human beings, organizations, just any major significant changes. Like, wow, I came from that.
Pretty much. And I'm just looking at this picture and I just realized something seriously had to change between 130 years. That's 1888, right? So let's see, between 1888 and 2018, the world apparently got color, because I don't remember the world being in black and white before. No? Nobody?
No,
okay.
no.
It was a good try.
I tried. I thought I had you. I was like, darn, fine. But but no, seriously, if you haven't seen this picture, come to the site and look at. We have the article there. I'll even put it in the podcast page because it's just fun. Okay, this is how Nintendo started, and we should respect its history. But we also needed to respect the present, and that's all about the Nintendo Switch nowadays. And the upcoming Game Developers Conference released a report, and in this report, it said that basically it interviewed 4,000 video game developers, which for the record is an incredibly high number if you really think about it. And they asked them various questions about the video game industry. And one of the questions was, how are your games doing on the Nintendo Switch? Which, remember, it has not been out a year yet, officially. So they asked this question, and they said two things. Is it A, selling about the same or better than all other versions of your game on other consoles, the Xbox, PS4, PC? Or is it selling below the average of those other systems? And 84% said that their games were selling as good, if not better, on the Switch than every other console out there, or the PC.
84%. This is a little different than what I interpreted our pre-show discussion. So it's not just their expectations. It's compared to other. Oh, well, that makes sense. And that's even more impressive.
Yes, it is. Well, it's just, if you remember our past talks about like Oceanhorn, which sold more on day one on the Switch than its entire lifetime on the Xbox One. Or Death Squared, which sold 500% better on Christmas than it did like the previous week, on Switch without sales or anything.
Right.
This 84% of developers who put a game on the Switch has said that their game has sold as good, if not better, on the Switch than the PS4, the Xbox One versions, or the PC versions. That's insane.
Is like again, it feels like people now are finally understanding, like, again, the popularity and potential of the Switch hardware. Again, as we stated many times over, it's a hybrid mobile console. Take AAA titles along with you on the go. I mean, sure, it may not have the bells and whistles like PlayStation 4, PS4 Pro, or Xbox One, but heck, at least like it's a title that you can actually go. It's much more, again, mobile. Take it with you. Heck, take it on an airplane. I mean, whoever thought of a person actually taking a PS4 Pro on an airplane? I mean, I know there probably isn't. There's an event like that, but yeah, like this is very potential fulfilling, and yeah, I think people finally acknowledge that.
Yeah, and again, this console has been out less than a year, and if we were to, let's just say, round it up, say it has 15 million sold. That's still a fraction of what the Xbox One, the PS4, and of course Steam has in its player base. And yet these games, for whatever reason, are selling so well on the Switch that 84% of these, and for the record, not all 4,000 people or developers have a game on Switch. That's not what we're saying. But the group that answered this question, which I would imagine would be, what, 100, 200, 300, maybe? I don't know. All those, whatever number it was, 84% of them said that their games are selling as good, if not better, than every other version of the game on other systems. That's incredible. The Switch
you figure
sells.
It's like big sporting companies probably sell better on like Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
But that's just such a wide range of audio of games that sell better on the Switch.
Yeah. And then especially if even let's say 84%, let's say 60%. Let's say 60% of those are indie game companies. Okay, let's be even more fair. 50%. 50% of those are indie game companies. That 50% is inspiring every other indie developer out there to bring their indie games to Switch. Like today, it was revealed that Dead Cells is coming to Switch. Even it was, it's done well as far as I've seen on Steam and other platforms, but it clearly thinks that it's going to do just as good as Switch because, no doubt, of what all these other people are saying. That's word of mouth, which is something every console needs. And because if someone says my game has done absolutely great on the Switch, then someone else is going to go, well, maybe we should port our game to Switch. And indie games, that I think it's fair to say, are easier to port than AAA titles like, say, Soul Calibur 6, which we all want on Switch, or even Dragon Ball FighterZ, which you want on Switch. It's easier and it's more profitable for them to do so. And so I hope that 2018 just becomes this massive year of success stories for indie game companies, or even just smaller developers who have had success but want more success, and they go, oh, the Switch is selling basically anything that's put on it, so let's go there. Works for me.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's like I can't say it anymore enough than that. That's like, as long as people get the idea of what the Nintendo Switch is, I feel that that idea will continue to spread to more and more people, and maybe perhaps even change people's beliefs in what a system can be, perhaps.
Well, from potential indie game success to potential AAA ports, Tyler, why don't you tell them what Epic Games is going to be doing?
Yes. So
I'm sorry, potentially doing.
Potentially doing. Big into the multiplayer online gaming verse, Fortnite may be coming to Switch. They're interested in bringing the game over. There's no official plans. However, the audio they said that they're hearing the fans' voices and are considering bringing Fortnite over to Switch, which would be huge because that's a totally different demographic, I think. I know a lot of my old high school friends who loved Call of Duty back in the day, and that was their game, are big into Fortnite. And if you could tap into that group on Switch, that could open up a whole other world of possibilities. So that's definitely exciting. Fortnite's been one of the trending games these past couple months. And being able to bring that game with you anywhere would be crazy. So right now all we have is some tweets to go off of, but the I'm not sure if it's the worldwide creative director at Epic Games said very hopefully interested in bringing it over to Switch.
I write for a lot of websites, not just the Outerhaven, and one of the biggest things I've been writing about is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds versus Fortnite, because Fortnite was an entirely different game, about killing zombies and such, and then they copied. No, seriously, they literally just copied it. It was actually pretty funny how well they copied it. They copied the Battle Royale mode, put it in for free, and then the game exploded. It was doing okay on its own, but the moment they brought over the Battle Royale mode, it jumped to millions of viewers. It's got 20 million purchases so far. It's reached 2 million concurrently online between all the systems. And that's the thing that separates it, is that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is only on PC in the full version and Xbox via the game preview, whereas Fortnite is on PC, Xbox One, and PS4 in full. And now if you'd add Switch to that, that's another leg up, because there's no way that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds coming to Switch in the next 2 years.
Yeah. I've actually, my younger brother is really into Fortnite, and I was watching both games overly appeal to me. But I definitely think Fortnite is the more colorful game, and just because of that, it jumps out at me a little bit more.
No, it's just hilarious because these are technically two games are very much the same in their genre, especially because they're both battle royale games in part or if not in whole. But they're still entirely different. Fortnite is much more cartoony. They definitely embrace a more like Jack and Daxter. No, yeah, no, Ratchet and Clank. There you go, Ratchet
Yeah,
and Clank kind of thing because they have like a disco,
yeah,
like no, it
yeah.
was like the Boogie Bomb.
Uh-huh.
That was hilarious. So that's just fascinating. And then there's different map styles and all that. But I definitely agree. I didn't even think about it until you said it, Tyler. Fortnite on the go would be huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's definitely some of those games can kind of extend, but a lot of the time, it's a perfect like train ride game that you play around and then you're there.
yeah. I mean, I could man, just the idea of that, Fortnite on the go and playing it like that. That's fascinating. And again, this is another now AAA person saying, "Hey, let's try and bring our game to the Switch. That might be interesting." Of course, I'm still waiting for Overwatch to come because I might actually get it if it comes to Switch. Get on it, Blizzard. Get on it. So I want to kick Will's butt, he says dreamingly because he knows he never will. I learned my lesson in ARMS. I'm never gonna beat Will in matches like this. Although I did beat him in Mario Kart a couple times, but that was different. Mario Kart's entirely different. But I think if Fortnite came to Switch, it would be huge, like million seller day one. I really think that because just like Tyler said, that's an entirely different demographic. So we'll just have to see. And finally, from potential game arrivals to inevitable game deaths. Will, would you like to tell us who is joining the dearly departed very soon?
Yes, so if you have been joining with us since like the dawn of time or since like Nintendo announced it, Miitomo is finally going to die on May. Regarding to, they'll be ending services, but right now you can basically log in right now for extra coins, tickets, basically to decorate a little avatar. But overall, this app is pretty much dead. Like, for what it's worth, I mean, Nintendo's first foray into the mobile market, like Miitomo was kind of like that interesting little thing that they experimented. It's a social, but not fully social. But then it's a kind of a smaller gaming kind of thing. I mean, for what it's worth, when it first came out, it was like, okay, it's a little interesting, but it didn't hold as much water as, for example, like Mario Run or Fire Emblem Heroes. It's just like, okay, it's like you make a little avatar, go a little social things, like see what other people would answer to this question. It's like, okay, like, meh. That's pretty much, unfortunately, the general reaction of this app is just like a big meh. So yeah, Nintendo announced it on first it was announced on Nintendo's Japanese Twitter, and then eventually reached to us that they'll be pulling the plug on May, and basically no any purchase that you made is, I think they said it was like refunds or no refunds. I can't recall the details right now. I think somewhere along the line.
They
But
said
basically,
if you had coins left by the end of the game, you will get a refund for any paid coins you had.
all right, yes. So overall, yeah, I mean, all things must come to an end. And just like the first mobile apps Nintendo has done is now gonna, go poof. So, rest in peace, Miitomo. I mean, I actually enjoyed it for what it's worth. I was still continuing logging on until like the news hit me. It's like, all right. I mean, heck, I got my ninja sword. I got like I know when Fire Emblem Heroes hit, like they also did a collaboration with Miitomo, which you can actually get the armor from of the main characters. So it was kind of a nice little tidbit, but meh, it was nice. It was nice while it lasted, basically.
Yeah, it was the start of something. It was the start of the mobile initiative, as I like to call it, and that resulted in Pokemon Go and Super Mario Run, which Tyler hates, and then Fire Emblem Heroes, which we all love, and then Pocket Camp, which you two have enjoyed. I haven't picked it up yet, and then we're all eagerly awaiting the next mobile game announcement. So it did what it needed to do, and I was surprised to hear it did like a million downloads in Japan in 3 days. That's
Well,
pretty good.
yeah, I mean, it was fun for a while. They just they didn't expand on it like they expand on their other games. Like it's probably makes sense that they were going to shut it down because unless I mean I might be wrong, but I don't think they added anything really new. And people like the Mi Photo. Mi Photo was like the main reason
Yeah,
to
yeah.
use Miitomo. And they could easily just release that separately or release that as part of a new app. I'm sure that they'll have some sort of replacement. Maybe they won't, but MiPhoto was super popular, just like Miiverse was. So I'm sure some sort of similar initiative will pop up either on Switch or on mobile.
Yeah, let's hope. Oh, breaking news! Breaking news. Okay, if you guys remember Secret of Mana, it was one of the classic games on the SNES. Well, it's now getting a modern 3D remake for various.
Not coming to Switch though.
Yeah, not coming to Switch. However, in an interview, Masuru Oyamada, who is the producer of the upcoming remake, he said this about a potential Switch port. When we originally started to develop this title, the Switch wasn't announced at that time, which is honestly becoming a recurring thread with certain games like Soul Calibur and such. Let's see. And so we started developing for PlayStation platforms as well as PC. With that said, after announcing this, there was quite a bit of demand for the Switch version. So we are taking that in. We are taking in that feedback, and if there is large demand for it, we'd like to see what we can potentially do, but no plans as of yet.
That would be really exciting. That's one of the games I've always wanted to play.
So yeah, I've heard good things about it. I honestly didn't remember that game, but when they started to talk, I had to research it for various articles, and I'd like it on Switch. So just like Soul Calibur, just like Dragon Ball FighterZ, and all these other games, let the developer know that you want it on Switch. Shout it on Twitter and Facebook and such, and it might happen. They're hearing you. They said if the feedback is large enough, they'll do it. So go do it. All right? There you go. All right. So with the recent Fire Emblem Heroes banner, Sacred Memories, I made a slightly wrong joke, not like wrong as in content, as wrong as in context, that the whole Sacred Memories banner was basically two of the wives of Ephraim, which is only half true because Laurential can marry Ephraim in the game. But Mir is considered a more sisterly character. She calls him Big Brother in the game. And so this got me thinking, what is our favorite couples, either canon or non, in Fire Emblem? Now that we have multiple games, so we've all played multiple versions of the games. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the couples edition of Waifu Wars.
Hold on, I have some breaking news.
Okay, fine, hurry. What?
They just released the midterm results for the Choose Your Legends event.
Already?
Yeah, it's fascinating. I am very disappointed too. I am heated.
Okay, I'm checking Twitter right now.
Just tell us, what's the news?
The top two men right now.
Okay.
Hector and Ephraim.
I believe
is third. Alm is fourth.
Wow.
Which is tight.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Reinhardt is fifth. Crom is sixth. Free Crom.
Wait, did you say Reinhardt is fifth?
Reinhardt is fifth because he's so popular from Epic Heroes.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
And I'm actually seeing it right now as well. Robin is seventh. Takumi is eighth. Marth is ninth.
Yeah, Marth, combine Marth's votes. This is an outrage. I am outraged. Marth is in 2 games, and it's not his fault. He would be number 1 otherwise. This is an outrage.
And the other candidates include say Xander as 16th, Ryoma as 11th, as 12th.
Leif is 10th.
Wait, okay, so what's our top 2 females?
Yes.
It's very surprising.
Whoa!
Tyler
number 1
only.
is stunning.
Come on.
Celica is winning. Celica number 1.
Wow.
Number 2, Camilla, which is not a track. Erica number 3. Azura number 4. Veronica number 5.
Fire Emblem Heroes, yes.
Wow.
Loki number 7. Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yes, yeah. Loki. And actually, funny enough, I actually voted for her as well. Funny enough.
Did you?
Oh, there's a shock, Will.
Cordelia 11th there. Yeah, that's interesting.
Dark is number 10. There's actually, the females in Fire Emblem Heroes have representation here, which is surprising.
Yo, Celica, represent.
That's, I'm going to say this. If you recall, the first Choose Your Legends event happened right when, Fire Emblem Heroes came out. And since then, we have had, a year of Fire Emblem Heroes. We had Shadows of Valentia come out. We had Fire Emblem Warriors come out. That clearly has impacted how people view these characters.
It has, for sure. Almost being 4 is hype.
Yeah, Almost 4. Celica is 1. Irka is 3, which is still good. Kamiya, Kamiya's always been there, Loki is the obvious one. And then for males is Reinhardt.
Yeah.
I mean, if you asked a North American Fire Emblem fan who's Reinhardt before Heroes, I wouldn't have been able to answer. Would you have, Tyler?
No,
exactly. And I know Will wouldn't have. No offense.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think I see what Intelligent System is doing right now, because you see the pattern here? Because one, this popularity poll is one to basically set up for the next 12-month wallpaper. That's the first thing. The second part, they're preparing for the next Brave units.
Yeah,
I'm seeing.
That's what we were suspecting. But there's also going to be a Legends banner in a few days, so maybe this might impact that too.
Oh,
perhaps, but yeah, I don't know, a Brave Reinhardt, a Brave Camilla, I don't know. That's how
Brave Marth. Marth is getting ripped off, and I feel like that is being overlooked here. Because Marth is in 2 games. That is not his fault. # free Marth.
Oh my gosh. Okay, how about this? How about what the heck are they gonna do with Brave Hector? Because he's already a boss. What are you gonna do? I mean, are you gonna try and put more armor on that guy? I mean, he doesn't need it.
Give him a sword. Because he can use a sword in his Great Lord class.
True.
He could be. You give him what if they gave him Ixax, Zephiel's sword?
Oh my
gosh. That would be really cool.
Okay, but I'm happy that Ephraim's at number 2, because I did vote for Ephraim. I totally would love to get a Brave version of him. I just want a version of him, period. He's my new Ike. I want Ephraim. I now have one of his wives. I can't get him. So,
okay, hold on. Hear me out on this. I have the greatest idea of all times, and Camilla is the only person who doesn't perfectly fit.
Okay.
But Hector dies.
In what capacity?
Celica also dies.
In what capacity?
And Hector gets killed by Zephiel. So you could give Hector the weapon that he gets killed by. You could give Celica Falchion, because Alm kills her with Falchion.
Then
she
kills,
comes back.
quote unquote.
Spoiler alert, but she
does.
does. He stabs her. Ephraim, you could give him Lion's Tome, Nalgafar, and then Camilla has to come in some weird way. But there's that would be cool. You could give her King Garen's weapon.
Ooh,
and they could have the fallen weapons that are based around death. That would be cool.
That would be dark, but I like it.
I know, but it would be really kind of dark. Was the first one? It was all about the character's dead fathers.
Oh my gosh, that is true.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't catch that until now. Wow.
Yeah,
because I mean, okay, well, technically, Lucina was already honoring her dead father, and her ancestor by being Marth with Falchion and all that. So, but yeah, I see why you're saying that now. But that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, we're definitely gonna have to keep our eyes on that. Thank you. That is an acceptable interruption of Waifu Wars.
It's very exciting. Nino's ahead of Tharja. Tharja's intense. Taste it, Tharja. People like Nino more than you.
I think it's because of a certain other niche audience. Cough, cough, cough.
Yeah, I do want to say that I am disappointed in Loki being anywhere close to the top.
Yes.
Gee, I wonder why people voted for her. Will. I mean, I know her and Camille are quite a pair, but I mean, I don't think that reveals why people like them so much, does it, Will?
I think it's regarding to their
Shut up, Will. I wasn't really
maybe it's just a bloodlusty personality. I'm of that sort. I don't know. There's something really just murders about them that really kills the audience.
Will, shut up. Oh gosh, you are part of the problem. Okay. Just for that, I'm not gonna miss you when you're gone. There you go. You're part of the problem. Okay, moving on back to Waifu Wars Companions Edition. I know what you're thinking. But Todd, Tyler, Will, you're 3 strapping young men. Why the heck are you going to a couple simulator? You think about it. You've thought about it too. I mean, come on. I mean, whether it's in the original games or Awakening, Fates and now even Heroes, if you really think about it, because with all the cross worlds, who would be a great couple there. You think about these things. Now, for me personally, when I go into these recent Fire Emblem games, I don't look at who's the most beautiful, or I don't pull a will and go who's got the skimpiest clothing. Don't tell me I'm wrong. That's what I thought. I honestly go for story. I have revealed some of my favorite couples here, my favorite waifus in Fire Emblem before, and it was because to me they had the best story, and that's why how I look at it for couples. So, like for example, when I went into Awakening, I didn't really think about it. I was like, who makes me laugh the most, or who I find the most intriguing. That's why Robin's first pairing for me was Muriel, because I thought she was funny. And then later on, I had him marry Cordelia, which is now for me the perfect couple, because it was one of the most pure relationships I had ever seen. Then for Fire Emblem Fates, small spoilers coming, Birthright, I married Azura, and my heart was broken when she died. And I was like, they just killed my wife. What the frick? Then Conquest, I kind of capitulated because I wanted to see because I kept hearing about Camilla, so I'm just like, well, let's just see what happens there. And it wasn't that bad. And then for Revelations, I went totally left field and I chose Charlotte. So
yeah, good call. Charlotte was a great wife.
Charlotte turned out to be great, and she had one of the best lines about how there are things better than gold. So that was great. But if I'm going for the best couple, I'm going to go for one of the biggest missed opportunities in Fire Emblem history. And no, I am not talking about Chrom Cordelia, because that one's been talked about to death. I am talking about Ike Alencia. Okay.
Yes. Amen.
Or what should we call him? Alencia Ike. Ilencia. I don't know. This was a guy and a gal. This is a fairy tale right here. This is the mercenary and the princess who bond over a desire to bring peace to the world. And then that ending scene in Path of Radiance, where she's scared to death of going to greet the people, and Ike's like, "What's wrong with you? You've done so much, and you're telling me now you're scared?" That was just so adorable. And then she grabs his hand and is like, "I owe you my life, my lord Ike." And then all of a sudden, like, it's all about Joffrey. I'm like, okay, Joffrey's great, but he's also the biggest stick in the mud in the history of Fire Emblem.
That's right.
Okay, it's like Ilencia for life. Okay, and I wept when they weren't together. They acted too familiar, if you will, in Radiant Dawn for my taste. They should have been, well, not all over each other. It's a kids game after all. But okay, that's not a kids game. It's more of a tea game, I suppose. But they didn't act the same as they did in Path of Radiance. That's why I felt that they really missed a potential great relationship there. So I will always have that last scene of Path of Radiance in my heart, because it was just a beautiful cutscene, like rendered dialogue, everything. It was great stuff. But I will always see them as a couple, because I think that they had some of the best chemistry in the game.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's a great, because that always drives me crazy that Joffrey comes out of nowhere, and like, who uses Joffrey in that game? Like, nobody uses Joffrey. You used him in Path of Radiance.
Okay,
like,
not in Path of Radiance, but he was useful, and then in Radiant Dawn,
you have to use him in Radiant Dawn.
But he was useful there. That Brave Lance was no joke.
No, you're right. But again, like, you're way more connected to Titania and Oscar as your knight. And, you gotta come in and take over. Like, I never support him in Alencia. I just prefer to think of Alencia never getting married rather than getting married to him.
Yeah.
My pick, I'm going with a canon. Well, not canon, but kind of canon. I love Lynn and Hector.
Okay.
Lynn and Hector make perfect sense. So at first, you meet. One of the best things about Fire Emblem 7 is the relationships between the characters. One, it has the advantage of having a game before it, where obviously it's the prequel, Fire Emblem 7, but still the universe is kind of like expanded enough so that that Hector has a daughter named Lelina, and who her mother is, you don't know. It could be Florina, it could be Farina, it could be Lynn. I think it's got to be Lynn, because you see, Lynn could be married to Eliwood, she could be married to Wrath, a nomad on the plains, or she could marry Hector. And these two characters, when they meet, like, they're just, the fireworks are exploding. Like, they clash so hard, because Lynn is kind of judgmental, and she always says what's on her mind. And Hector does not give a crap what anybody thinks about him. He presents himself as this rough, unrefined person, even though he does have a heart of gold. And immediately they are bashing heads, and that bashing of heads kind of through their support slowly builds up into this love, and it's all very believable. And they end up having just phenomenal chemistry where they're competitive with one another, but not to the point where they start being against one another. They kind of bring out the best in each other. And of course they're the two main characters, or two of the main characters, so you always kind of want to put them together. But their support is one of the most organic, and I could both of them would only go for someone like, if you're Lynn would go for a Hector and Hector would go for a Lynn. It makes perfect sense just from everything about them. The only sad thing is that we don't see Lynn in Fire Emblem 6. So going with that, you have to assume that she dies an early death. Is sad.
Maybe in childbirth?
Maybe at childbirth, which would be really sad because Lynn was awesome. But
that'd be a horrible way.
Honestly, I think that's probably the most badass way to die. So
what?
Oh yeah, for sure, that is definitely the most badass way to die.
Well, actually, if you do you know Spartan lore, Tyler?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, well in Spartan lore there are only two or three ways to die. Or sorry, two or three ways to die. Wouldn't that be a hoot? And Spartans are immortal. No, there's only 2 or 3 ways to get your name on a gravestone in Spartan culture, in original Spartan culture. One was to die in battle, and the other was to die in childbirth, because it was perceived that you were dying, giving life for the kingdom.
Yeah, see, exactly. That's kind of it. I don't know. I do think that that's a cool way to do it. It's a cool way to
just move on, Tyler, before you hurt yourself.
Basically, die a warrior's death in some way.
Yes, exactly. So Lynn and Hector, absolutely. Just the way that their relationship builds from the beginning of the game to the end, and then through their supports, it's phenomenal. I think Lynn and Ellie would make sense as great friends, but I couldn't see them marrying each other. Lynn and Hector, absolutely.
All right, this one I got here. What about you, Will?
Well, again, I'm not as renowned of the previous game, so obviously my pick is pretty much something with the recent takes. I could pretty much go probably for Corin and Camilla, given the whole brother and sister love, and maybe that. Maybe I should also go for, I don't know, maybe for Elise. I don't know. There's gotta be, what the heck? I'm gonna go for original. I'm gonna go back to Awakening. See, who is a certain Plagia Dark Witch? Yes, I'm going for Robin and Darja. Yes. What's a big surprise? Okay, I don't know. Is it because the when you first discover Darja in the Plagia desert, it's, I don't know. You see her on her own, and then okay, but then you save her, and then she joins up your party, but you don't know what she is. All you know that she is a Dark Witch. Perhaps you should really put some guards up against her, but for some odd reason, Darja just instantly hits it off. Well, hits it off is kind of a vague term to say the least with Darja. Just really connects with Robin in the game, and I just really love the back and forth chemistry / comedy between the two. Okay, Darja's okay, get my 5 hours of staring at Robin in the background. But I am satisfied. Darja, I can sense you looking over that pillar right now, yeah? And it's just that little awkwardness / creepy funny / romantic kind of sense. I don't know, call it a weird affection of a / yandere. Okay, should I maybe put a hex on you? Or, I don't know, I have seen you sleeping through my, I don't know, magic glass, the potions, all the hexes, the potions, all the creepy stuff you expect from a stan, stalker fan, or some sort, but at the end, once you reach up to, the A compensation, and especially the S rank, if you decide to marry Darja with Robin and Darja, it just seems so appealing, to say the least. Maybe it's just the whole fact of Darja is, she is definitely physically attractive, but also it's that personality of hers. She's creepy. She's you never want a creepy girl to follow you, but once I don't know, once you get to know the Dere side, the like, to be in a strange sort of way, she does love Robin in her own special, unique / creepy way,
horrific, dark, twisted.
But she does love Robin, to say the least. It is an unusual form of love, but it's love. And heck, why not? Like, I can't believe you made me love you. Of course, if you back out, I'll murder you in your sleep. I don't know.
That was a great line.
I really love that delivery from Stephanie Sheh, and I met her many times. She's just a great gal, and yeah, even her iterations like in what was the game again? With the singing again. What was it?
F.E. Sharp Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Yes, Mirage Sessions. Thank you. Yeah, like in her form, like that thing was actually pretty good representation with the character she bonded with. So. I can pretty much go on and on. I would just
you know what? I do like Tharja. Like, I think that it's weird after the release of Awakening, intelligent systems totally changed Tharja. Like, Tharja's actually a good character. Like, I actually really like her. Like, she obviously has some messed up things about her, like the way she raises Noor, but she's drawn to Robin because Robin is Grima. That's why she's drawn to him, because she's a dark mage in touch with darkness, and Robin is literally darkness. Like, she doesn't just latch on to him for any reason. Like, that's why there's a reason for it. And they just kind of threw all that stuff out the window and made her, like, hypersexual, even though, like, her character, she doesn't recognize that she's attractive. Like, she doesn't think, like, she doesn't understand that at all. Like, she doesn't think about that.
She doesn't care about her look. She, like, okay, so what does it matter of how I look? I mean, it's perhaps she doesn't give any thought of, like...
Exactly. She doesn't concern herself at all about that at all.
She does she does what she wants to do, and I really find that very appealing. She does what she wants.
Yeah. Tharja's a good pick, and that Robin support is definitely funny, that final line.
I did. I think it was, let's see, it was third run. I think it was it second or third run. I did my marriage with Tharja with Robin. I can't remember which one it was now, but it was funny. And when they put them in combos, team ups, they were very powerful. Tharja is just one of those cases where she is a good unit. She does have a good story per se, but you literally have to get over her looks.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the characters with the best story in the game, like Cordelia, people kind of ignore her for one reason or another until they find out her story. And I'm like, this is why you should pay attention to her in the first place. It's like, get over yourself. Like, everyone's fawning over Tharja and everything, and that's just like, like, again, I remember this it was like this expanded story manga or something like that released for it, and it was about how should I say this delicately? Cordelia improving a certain part of her body. Let's roll with that. And Tharja is trying to help her. Help her. But anyway, what broke my heart and made me want to kill someone was that Donald, of all people, was like, Cordelia, you're a great gal. You're talented, you're smart, and he said a very offensive line about a body part of hers. And I'm like, Donald, I already hate you. I hate you more now. Why would you say that to Cordelia? I'd marry Cordelia on the spot. I mean, I know I'd obviously take my time to court her and whatnot, but like, she's like the perfect girl. Pretty dang close. But then when I think of Tharja, it's just like, I told my mentor once, there's like 3 kinds of girls in the world, and I do not mean this as an insult. It's just how guys think sometimes. There's the girl you think you want. There's the girl. No, roll with me on this. There's the girl you think you want. There's the perfect match for you, and then there's that one that you want to at least try to date, and that one is Tharja. Okay, because she looks like she does, but she's also talks creepily, and she talks about cursing people all the time, and that would scare most men. But then, like, when they're alone, they'll think, well, maybe I could just try one date. What's the worst that could happen? Like, if it's that kind of mindset. Okay. Speaking of evolving thought, I was looking at because of Laracial. I was looking at how marriage has evolved in Fire Emblem. Now, of course, we have the classic love coupling of Marth and Sita, which is one of Tyler's favorite couples ever.
Absolutely. I love Marth
rightfully
and Sita.
rightfully so. Also because Marth was completely dense and did not know that Sita wanted to marry him until someone actually pointed out. He's like, dude, put a ring on her finger. I'm like, come on, dude. Anyway, but it's hilarious because when in like games like Sacred Stones, they don't overtly say that they get married until their endings, whereas in Awakening and Fates, they make it blunt that they're about to get married. You know, it's the S supports.
Yeah.
You know, not even and this actually continued until Awakening, because in Path of Radiance and such, they don't talk about this until the endings as well. But
some of them have like nods to it. Like I think that Lynn and Hector are like, "Yes, I love you" to each other at the end of their supports.
And Alencia and Joffrey have something similar in Radiant Dawn. But it's still like you have to wait till the end to get it. And the perfect example of that is Laraciel and Ephraim, because when they're talking, they're like, what is going on here?
Ephraim flusters Laraciel because she thinks he's beautiful but doesn't know how to express it, and Ephraim just doesn't get it. So
like here's a line from here's a line from the C support. She seems so reliable and so assertive. Are women from Wasna all like that? Okay, and then in the B support, this one's absolutely hilarious. She's a healer in the game, not unlike in Heroes. And she goes, if I can save a life by risking myself, Ephraim goes, if I can risk a life to save myself, I'll do it. This is war, and war is risky. I have no problem with that. And she goes, oh dear, I bet your body is just covered with scars under that armor, isn't it? I can heal them all for you. Let me see them. And he goes, thanks. Let's see. So imagine this right now. He's just said this line. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to start taking off his armor so that she can see the scars to heal him. And how does she respond? Oh my, what are you doing? I have to take my armor off if I'm going to show you the scar on my shoulder. Cad, beast, peasant, devil. I simply would not allow you to take advantage of me in my confused state. What?
I love her.
Sounds like one of my animes.
Pretty much. And then in their A support, which is supposed to be like the marriage support, she's basically still mad about this, and she goes, how dare you show your naked body to me? She goes, naked? I was doing to show you the scar on my shoulder like you asked. A naked shoulder is a big deal. I was so shocked. Why, I could hardly sleep all the night. And I'm just like, what is going on? And then at the end he goes, I just do not get her. She is rather cute though.
It is awesome.
But it gets better. The ending, I have it here. Oh, come on. No, stupid Google. Okay, basically it says that when Laraciel and Ephraim get married, it throws her home country of Rostus into chaos.
Yeah, all of Roston was thrown into chaos.
Yeah,
but still, Larachel's arrogance won the day, or something like that.
Yes, her self-centeredness won the day. And all I can think of is, why? Like, why was this marriage so bad, and why did you go into chaos? And like, why can't you support the love? Why? And this isn't the only one. I looked up some of Lynn's, and dear gosh, Lynn has some very strong language in like how she left certain things. Like it literally said in one of them, I can't remember who, which is like she abandoned her throne and went to the forest with her lover. I can't remember. I think it was the nomad guy. It was just like, wow, you actually said that in a video game at that time. So it's like, yeah, they've evolved how they've actually talked about this in Fire Emblem, and it makes me curious what we're gonna get in Fire Emblem Switch. Yeah, I can already see it now. Will is gonna instantly go for whoever one has the, well, you know.
Yeah, I think I do.
I do take to know their personality. Thank you.
Sure you do, Will. Sure you do.
That they like do something similar to what Lucina and Owain actually do in Awakening, because they don't get married because obviously they're cousins. So they have but like they're like, yeah, we're tight, like we're a team. You and I are a team. Like I think that you could totally do that, and like you could have some marriages, other times like say some uncompatible characters like should not be able to get married. And
well, like I remember like some ones like I know Laraciel and Erika have a great ending when they have an A support together, and it's that kind of thing. So, or how like Alencia and Lucia are defined as, you know, blood sisters because that's how close they were. You know, I would like to see some of those too.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would be a lot more. You might be able to appease the whole audience that way. One more quick note before we end it. In my Awakening permadeath playthrough, I married Mary Bell, and Mary Bell's support, really her whole support with Robin, I never saw before. It's really, really good. Like it's super good. I really like that support, like almost as much as I like the Cordelia and Robin one. It's really funny and actually definitely super touching. Mary Bell's a great character. I never really liked her until this playthrough, but she's been so good that I've used her, and I've seen a bunch of her supports now, and I really like Mary Bell.
Okay, well, Tyler, what was our I forgot, what was our poll question for last week?
Oh, it was, do you think the Nintendo Labo will be a success?
Oh, that's right.
A lot of people voted yes. Sorry, let me pull it up. I had it open a second ago.
It's okay. Well, I think our poll question this week, so what is the best Fire Emblem couple? So for mine is obviously Ike and Valencia. And yes, I know they weren't technically a couple, but let me dream. Will's is of course Robin. I'm sorry. That was an honest accident. Was Robin and Tharja, and then I'm sorry. What was yours, Tyler?
Mine was Lynn and Hector.
Lynn and Hector. Okay. What was the best Fire Emblem couple? So that will be our poll question for this week.
And the 86% said yes, Labo success.
Wow.
14% said no.
86%. That's impressive.
Woo.
That's impressive. Now, on a more somber note, we do have to reveal that this is Will's last podcast with us. He has come down with a case of Malaysia. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's his last podcast. He won't be able to be with us. And
hey, don't write me out. I'm not dead yet.
Hey, I don't know how serious Malaysia is. I've never even heard of this disease.
I think
before.
a lot of people are going to be confused as to what Malaysia
is.
It's a place.
Wait a minute. Malaysia's a country? I had no idea.
It's a place.
Will is going to be in Malaysia, the country. Wouldn't it be hilarious if there actually was a disease named Malaysia?
No, that was funny. Yeah.
Will is going on a trip to Malaysia, and he will be away for the next 4 weeks.
I counted it's gonna be 3 weeks, so I will not be here for the next 3 podcasts.
Yeah,
I'll be over with my family to just basically celebrate Chinese New Year, because Chinese New Year.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, we will have hopefully some substitute hosts. Hopefully Cromcho. She's been so busy, but she hopefully be with us. We might even have the return of Koopa Keith, and maybe even a brand new special co-host. So stay tuned for that. And if Will survives his trip, we will welcome him back, maybe.
Will,
you know you love me. You love me, boys.
We're going to miss you. It's going to be tough. There's going to be like every week, I'm sure there's going to be a big story that we're like, damn, this is Will's story. And you're not going to be here to tell it. And we're going to be sad.
Or we'll have our special guest host introduce him, and all we'll think of is like, man, Will would have done something such more grand.
That's right.
Yeah, he would have had a sound effect. He would have done a summoning in the middle just to frustrate Todd. Oh, Will, why are you leaving us?
Hey, or at least, do what everyone is doing. Play a JoJo reference. Play the first opening of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's how you remember me.
All right. Well, we hope you have a great trip, Will, and we look forward to talking with you. Hopefully, although we won't be mad if this happens, hopefully nothing super major will happen while you're gone, so we can get your feedback. And if something does happen, we'll let you have your time to talk about certain topics, like a Nintendo Direct should have happened or whatnot.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be. If I definitely have any internet access over there, I'll definitely be keeping my eye on any news, especially during this the 1 year anniversary of Fire Emblem Heroes. So don't worry, I'll be keeping an eye on it, no doubt.
Roger that. All right, so again,
vote for Marth. Vote for Marth immediately. Vote for his Shadow Dragon self, not his new Mystery of the Emblem self, because those are separate for some reason.
They are. They're two different games.
He would be in first otherwise, but it's the same character. People are voting for Marth, and he's gonna get ripped off. He's stuck in third and he's got the most votes. It's not right. Vote for Marth's Shadow Dragon variant, or vote for Alm. They're all great choices, actually. But vote for Marth. I demand it.
Yeah, just remember, this is not as long as the last Choose Your Legends event. We've only got a few days left, so make sure you get your votes in, all right?
Go Waifus!
So, with that, we are ending this episode of the Nintendo Entertainment Podcast. Be sure to vote in our poll about the favorite Fire Emblem couple. Let us know about what you think about the new banner, the ARMS update, or lack thereof. Again, check out look at the Nintendo's first headquarters. It really is something special. And let me know if you bought Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in the first 2 days. So, because if you were a big part of that huge sales number in Potentia. So, for Tellius Tyler and Wario Will, I am Triforce Todd. And ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time, but we are not out of lives. We have made it to the end of the level, so raise the flag.